Greetings. I thought I'd make another video. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different this time. Talking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. A lot of you will have heard of these terms and maybe you wonder what they actually refer to. Well, it's often said that the earth has a tilt to it, and that is exactly what it is. If you think of like the scales, Libra, the sign of Libra, it is in balance. Unfortunately, this world that we're in is totally imbalanced and highly in favour of a patriarch system, in other words, run by men. But let's face it, it's been a disaster. It really has. The divine male is represented as by the colour red, which is in the body is the arteries which push outwards, whereas the blue veins, the blue represents the divine feminine, which draws back in. So you don't have to be in a male body to be divine masculine any more than you have to be in a female body to be a divine feminine, because we each have both. It is duality. It is the understanding of both that is the important part with this. So what exactly is the divine masculine and the divine feminine? Well, perhaps the easiest way to answer this is to think in terms of gardening. In the terms of the divine male, what is the male? It is the planter of seeds. Now that doesn't mean in the physical sense of going out and having sex with every female you can come across. I mean, please, come on. We're talking here about the higher consciousness and the soul here, not the lower regions. So in terms of gardening, I will plant seeds, but you can't just leave them like that. You've got to tend to them, you've got to water them, you've got to look after them, you've got to nurture them. You've got to give them a start in life. That is the role of the divine masculine. If you put it into caveman terms, for example, you're living in a cave with your, shall we say, partner, for want of a better term, and she happens to be pregnant. So now you are protecting and providing for not just one life, but two. The divine feminine is the creator of that new life. That is the role of the divine feminine. Now, forget all the this awful bombardment we get on what is the role of a man and what is the role of a woman, and no, it's not like that. It's a supporting role for each other. It's the balance, the yin and yang between the two. You'll often find in relationships that one of you will have better skills at a particular thing. So it might be that the feminine is the better one at balancing the books. So let her do it. As the male, you might be better at, I don't know, cooking. So do that. But it's mutual cooperation between the two. You don't have to fall into these ridiculous categories that are put upon us on, you're a man, so you've got to do this, you're the one that drives the car, you're the one that mows the lawn. No. You take it in turns. You reach an understanding between the two of you. To hell with what everybody else thinks. This is a mutual cooperation between the two of you. And when it is a sacred union like that, and you are bringing a new life into the world, then it is an equal responsibility. Unfortunately, we are in a world where the shall we say, the lower energy, the lower chakras are being exploited, and we have this awful sex industry. It's bombarded in every advert. Let's face it, how many times have you seen a magazine advert or a billboard or something, and it might be something really mundane, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something now. Toothpaste, for example. So what do you got? You've got this beautiful, well, presume it's a beautiful girl. You can never tell these days. Most likely going to be an airbrush picture, with cleavage showing, which is like, oh, that's going to draw the man to look at this picture. It's so pathetic. But yeah, it's an understanding between the two of you, and finding the balance. See, with a relationship, it is not dependency on the other. You should be, spiritually, you should be complete and happy in yourself, not looking for somebody else to make up for your shortcomings. And are they really shortcomings? Are they weaknesses? Because it's, if you embrace those weaknesses and don't see them as weaknesses, but see them as the things that make you individual. Because are we all supposed to be the best runner or the best at carpentry, the best at this? No, you do the best you can, but your partner in a relationship might be better at doing something than you are. So it's reaching that understanding. It doesn't demasculinate the male to admit that I'm not as good at decorating as my partner, for example, as one case. Well, embrace it. If they enjoy doing it and they're better at it, well, that's great. But help them. Don't leave them to do it all. Offer to, I don't know, keep them with tea and coffee or whatever. Looking after the children. It's important to find this balance in life. And I'm struggling with this one. It's like all videos. I don't think this out in advance. It just comes, and normally it flows better than this. But anyway, the other point I wanted to say is I want you to picture a door. Right? Well, not picture a door. Picture a doorway. Right? I'm not talking about a physical door, I'm talking about a metaphorical door here. So, some of you who watch my videos on YouTube can find me under James Brockhurst, or on let's start again. On YouTube you can find me as James Brockhurst, on Facebook you can find me as Enilmerga, ENILMERGA, right? The door is always, well, the door's not even on its hinges. I've taken the door off because it's always an open doorway. So I don't know whether I'm setting myself up here to be bombarded with messages, but, well, that's what I'm here for. I've said before on previous videos, I'm a living Christ, right? Now, as a living Christ, what am I doing? Am I a king? Am I a god? Am I ruling over you? No. Look at it in this case. I'm going to say, look at it in the biblical sense. Look what this Jesus character does in this story. He washes the feet of his followers, his disciples. He is serving them, and this is what spirituality and being a god or a goddess is all about. You're not ruling over somebody, you're not having power over somebody, you are serving them in the way you can do best. It may be from life experiences of things you've been through yourself. I had a conversation recently with someone who had a young lady who had been sexually abused and was trying to make sense of it. So I said to her, have you considered that experience you have gone through might actually empower you to help other people? And sure enough, she then turns around and tells me that she's going into a new job where she is going into counselling to help people who've been through the very same thing. It's often said with if somebody has depression, somebody who doesn't understand it and who has no experience of it will say, oh, cheer up, pull yourself together, because they don't understand it. Now, I do get depression, I do get anxiety, I do get shell shock, or if you want to call it post-traumatic stress disorder. What a mouthful that is. How many things are getting longer and longer, ways of saying this, basically the same thing. But you are a shell, and it can be shocked. Think in terms of energy as well. So there's no such thing as a bad experience. They are experiences. It's how you deal with that experience and the way where you take it. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to stay in regret? Are you going to hold bad feelings about it? Or are you going to use that experience so you can help somebody else? Because you can draw on that and say, well, I've been through that. This is how I dealt with the situation. This is what the empowerment is all about. This is what I would seriously urge all of you to do. And it's the same with making these videos. The first time I ever made a video, I wasn't happy with it. I re-recorded it because I thought, I didn't say enough, and I wasn't happy with it, and didn't like the way my hair was. And then it's like, well, I could just keep going on editing and re-recording, and what have I achieved? I've got nowhere. So there comes a time you just got to take the plunge and go for it. And what is spirituality all about? It is about letting go of fear. So I would say to anyone, if you have something you want to say, forget it. It's a process. It's a learning curve. You can build up this fear and nervousness about how you look, how you're going to come across, or you can just say, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And people are either going to like what I say or they're not going to like what I say, but that's their reaction. You have done your bit because you have put that message out there. Whether other people agree with it or not is up to them. But if you speak honestly from the heart, hopefully that will come across, and you will get the message you want to get across to help other people, because this is what it is all about. It is all about being benevolent. So let's get this right. It's about being benevolent, not malevolent. You don't want to be self-serving. If you're going to be that, you might as well be a politician and feather your own nest. This is what this has always been about, right from day one. This knowledge, and whether you use it to help other people or whether you use it to be self-serving and keep that knowledge to yourself. But you have a consciousness, a conscience. That should kick in, really, I think, and tell you if you're doing right or wrong. The golden rule, really, if you want to call it a rule, is whatever you do in life, do it in a way that is not going to cause harm or hurt to another living being. Because when you understand that this creator of everything did actually create everything, what are you hurting? You're hurting another aspect of yourself. Or you can help another aspect of yourself. There's a lot with this spirituality. People are looking for answers and thinking they're very complex, and actually they're very simple. This is the beauty about the whole thing, about creation in itself. It is actually very simple. It's not simple in the sense of it's not intelligent, but there again, that would be putting judgment on something. But it is wonderful, and the answers are always simple. Occam's razor does not just apply to theories and things. It applies to spirituality, to the soul and to the mind. And that's all I'm going to say for this video. It's a little bit of an ad hoc one, so a lot of ums and ahs, but hopefully you've got there's a bit in there that is going to help benefit people. This is the whole point of doing these. So I wish you well, and I hope you're feeling a good energy. If you're going through a bad day, I go through them sometimes. I'm not immune to them. I'm hoping that this bit of love and light and this message is going to help brighten your day up. I really do. Thank you.